The Ferrari ambush. It was just after 10 p.m. on 10th of August 2022 when taxi businessman Joe Ferrari Sibanyoni arrived at a residential golf estate in Centurion. He was driving a red Ferrari. A white Volkswagen Golf 7 followed behind him. Neither vehicle appeared to know that another car was already moving through the area. According to evidence now being heard in the Gauteng High Court in Johannesburg, that third vehicle would soon turn the quiet estate into a battlefield. It was a white BMW, and inside, prosecutors allege, were men who had come to kill. The night of the ambush. Contemporary police reporting said Sibanyoni had arrived at the estate after having supper with a friend. The shooting happened at approximately 22:45 on the evening of Wednesday, 10th August 2022. 4 years later, the scene has become one of the central pieces of the state's case against controversial businessman Vusimuzi Kat Matlala and 4 co-accused. The state alleges that Matlala orchestrated a series of assassination attempts between 2022 and 2024. Sibanyoni was allegedly the first target. But on the night Sibanyoni was attacked, the alleged hitmen had a problem. They had been seen. The security guard. Bethwel Mazamoseli was working security at the estate. He had only been stationed there for several months when he noticed something unusual. A white BMW was moving slowly through the area. According to Sela's testimony, it looked as though the occupants were searching for something. The BMW passed the area, made a U-turn near the traffic lights and returned. It then stopped close to the red Ferrari and the white Golf 7. 2 men got out. They were carrying AK-47 rifles. Sel testified that the men realized he had seen them. Then the first shot was fired. It was directed towards him. The bullet missed. Sele and his colleague Kayalithu Francis Mazabuko ran for cover. But the shooting did not stop. The gunmen were firing towards the vehicles, and Sibanyoni was caught in the middle of it. But one of the gunmen continued firing and shouted, "Die, you dog!" Sibanyoni was allegedly struck twice in the stomach. The violence was not limited to the taxi boss. Another occupant of the Golf was also seriously wounded. Seal told the court that he saw the man's intestines protruding from his stomach as he attempted to escape. The witness became visibly emotional while recounting what he had seen. Judge Kasim Musa acknowledged that Sela was reliving the incident and described him as the court's eyes and ears to what happened that night. The counterattack. The security officers were not completely defenseless. Sela was carrying a company-issued 9mm pistol. His colleague urged him to use it. Sel eventually returned fire. He testified that he fired 5 rounds initially and ultimately discharged 15 rounds during the gun battle. He believed one of the attackers had been hit. The gunmen then began retreating towards the BMW. For a few moments, the parking area became a chaotic exchange of automatic rifle fire and handgun fire. Sele later described the encounter as a fight in which he wished he had been carrying an AK-47. 21 cartridges. The original police investigation provided its own clues. Contemporary reporting said approximately 21 AK-47 R5 cartridges were recovered at the scene. Sibanyoni survived. His companion, identified in the original police account as 21-year-old Sandile Masimula, was taken to Unitas Hospital. At the time, however, the public knew little about who was behind the shooting. There was a shooting. There were armed men. There was a white vehicle. And there was a prominent taxi businessman who had narrowly escaped death. The alleged conspiracy would only emerge much later. The alleged link to Kat Matlala. The state's case now goes considerably further than the evidence available in 2022. A published Gauteng High Court judgment records the state's allegations concerning the Sibanyoni matter. According to that record, ballistic evidence allegedly linked a recovered rifle to the shooting. The judgment also records the state's allegation that the white BMW used in the operation was linked to the daughter of one of the accused. Most significantly, prosecutors allege a possible motive connected to the taxi industry. The state alleges that Matlala's company, Cat Security Services, provided protection to a rival of Sibanyoni. Matlala has denied involvement and has pleaded not guilty. Those allegations are now being tested in court. From a shooting to a 25-count trial, the Sibanyoni shooting is no longer being investigated as an isolated incident. It forms part of a much larger prosecution. Matlala, his wife Tsakane Matlala, Musa Kekana, Tiago Floyd Mabusela, and Nathabiseng Zandile Nzama face a combined 25 charges. The indictment includes 11 counts of attempted murder, 3 counts of conspiracy to commit murder, firearm-related charges and allegations involving money laundering and fraud. The state alleges that the accused were connected to 3 separate assassination plots. The first allegedly targeted Sibanyoni in August 2022. The second allegedly targeted Tebogo Thobejane in 2023. The third allegedly involved DJ Vettis in January 2024. The prosecution's theory is therefore not simply that a group of armed men randomly attacked a taxi boss. It is that the shooting formed part of an organized network in which targets were allegedly identified, weapons obtained, vehicles used, and payments allegedly arranged. That is a much bigger allegation.